Hello and welcome back to the channel. Today's episode we'll be doing our usual run through of the Barnet Sunday Football League results, as well as looking at the results from the Cup action, London Cup, and looking forward to fixtures in not only the Barnet League but also the London Cups and the National Cup. So starting off in our Premier Division, Mehmetçik Galata 3, the Wrong'uns 1. Mehmetçik with a big win despite playing with 9 men. It was 1-1 at half time, but 2 goals in the second half meant that Mehmetçik picked up a big win. They've been on a good roll lately as well, some very good results recently, and another one against the Wrong'uns last Sunday. And in the other game in the Premier Division, Highgate Albion picking up a pair of 1-0 wins in a double header against Gower All Stars. In the Championship, Panda 0, AFTV 3. Another season, tough season for Panda in the Barnet Sunday Football League Championship. Last season, I believe they were bottom. This season, again, I believe they actually won a game, but the team that they did beat folded, so it got removed from the records. So another season, without a win is not looking good for them at the moment. Also, Horizon 4, Panathinaikos 3 in a more mid-table battle, but good result there for Horizon. In Division 1, Kedares Town and Peckenspor had a double-header. Results a bit disputed on the second one because of full-times data, but Kedares Town lost 2-1 in the first game. Game 2 is showing a 4-2 win for Peckenspor, but it's also showing 4 Kedares Town scorers. So the second game, I'm not too sure about the result. Obviously, full time is not, the perfect avenue, especially when teams don't fill out their data as they should. In the other result in Division 1, Komi Kabir picking up a 7-0 win over AC Finchley. In Division 2, Trent Park and AFC Edmonton had a double-header, 2-2 in Game 1. Trent Park going 4-0 in Game 2, continuing their run at the top of the table. And Anatolians picking up a 2-1 win over Continental. In Division 3, Cricklewood with the nice win over Ammonia Youth. They needed it. They've been really struggling this season. Fireside continuing their good form at the top of the table. 3-2 win over Brotherhood Cozzy. Highgate Albion thirds falling to a 4-1 home defeat against South Tottenham United. And Shentry losing 5-0 at home to Locomotive Thunder. In Division 4, Highgate Albion Force continued their good run at the top of the table. 5-0 win in the first game of the doubleheader against Torfik, and 3-0 in the second game. Underdogs with a very good win over Barnet Salsa, who'd had some previous good results in the league. They beat Muswell Hill a couple of weeks ago as well, so a very good result for underdogs there. And Maida Villa beating London Orient 2-1. In Division 5, New Barnet losing 2-1 at home to Coney Hatch Athletic. And Enfield Albion awarded an away walkover against North Athletico. In Division 6, Berylix-Spor and EFNS drawing 3-3, and AFC Oakwood thirds put in at 7 past Mill Hill Club de Football second 7-1. That was into the cup action in the Roger Jones Senior Challenge Cup. Nissi 0, Highgate Albion fourths. Highgate Albion reserves 4. So it was fourths in that game, but it was the scoreline and not the team. There was a fourths in another game as Zaza fell to a 4-0 defeat against Park Rolls. That was a make-up of the game last year as well. They actually played in the Roger Jones Senior Challenge Cup last year and the Premier Cup. So them two teams have met previously in cup competition, and every time it's been Park Rolls who have fared the better. AFC Muswell Hill 1, Enfield United 2, Millwall Club de Football 1, Olympia 2. Olympia going through in a battle of two very good teams. Two teams who had some good runs this season. Olympia heading into their London Cup game on some very good form. Camden FC 2, North West Wanderers 7. In the Junior Challenge Cup, Camden Town Athletic 0, NLR 7. North London Colts 5, North London Panthers 1. Atletico Grammar 0, North West Wolves 2. Edmonton Rovers 2, Radlett Town 6. And Whetstone FC 2, Grange Park 4. In the Premier Cup, London Wednesday 1, Heavy Hitters 3. In the Intermediate Cup, Powerhouse 0, North London Athletic 5. And Sopranos 1, AFC Oakwood Reserves 2. And in the BSFL Shield, Interman Razor 24-3, AFC Rosa 1. So looking forward to the fixtures now. In the Premier Division, we have Oakwood taking on Gower All-Stars. That's going to be obviously an important game for both teams. Gower All-Stars fall into that double defeat against Highgate Albion last week. Oakwood obviously will have seen that. They didn't play this week. But Highgate Albion have, revved up the pressure on them with them 2 wins in the double header. So it's a must-win game for Oakwood here. And then the battle of the 2 teams that played last week in the Roger Jones Cup, Zaza and Park Rolls. In the Championship, Horizon looking to add to their win this week over Panathinaikos, taking on Panda, who are looking for their first win in the league in the season. And AFTV taking on London Wednesday. That should be a very entertaining affair. In Division 1, one of the games of the weekend in my books, even in all divisions here, Enfield United taking on North London Athletic towards the top end of the Division 1 table. Division 1 leaders, Comi Kabir, they have played a fair few games more than the teams just below them. They take on Peckenspor. They can only just win their games and hope that the teams around them drop points in that promotion title race. AFC Rose taking on the Mill Hill Club of Football should be a very entertaining game for us there. Tough challenge against a Mill Hill Club of Football team who have immensely improved over the last few years. I don't think they're the same kind of beast that we played a few years ago. They did turn us over first game of the season 4-0, but I think it was more our performance than them being, too good for us. We have had some recently had some very good performances. Beat Kadara's Town convincingly a couple of weeks ago, 5-1. Were very good in that game, and then against Comi Kabir probably should have won that game. Ended up sucker punched in the last few minutes and ended up losing 2-1. But the performance was there. And Kadara's Town taking on Toriano. I have no clue if Kadara's Town won last week. But they've got to keep winning games if they want to stay up in this division. They had a very slow start to the season. Very unlike them, they're usually challenging towards the top half of the table, but not this season. It's been a real struggle for them there. In Division 2, AFC Edmonton taking on Continental. AFC Oakwood Reserves taking on Powerhouse. Northumberland Park Rangers taking on Trent Park. And Sopranos facing Anatolians. In Division 3, we got a double header between Brotherhood Cosy and Ammonia Youth. Locomotive Thunder looking to continue their good run after a very good result last week, taking on Highgate Albion Thirds, who suffered a bad defeat last week. It's a battle of 2 teams who had very good results last week. It's Fireside, who are top of the table, taking on FC Cricklewood, who need to use that momentum they had last week to pick up another win, because they're still towards the bottom of the table and wins are needed. North London Colts taking on Whetstone FC, and South Tottenham United facing Shentry Athletic. In Division 4, Arnus Rangers taking on Maida Villa, Torfik facing London Orient, and then two very good games here, two games that should be very entertaining between some good teams. Highgate Albion Force taking on Barnet Sunday, and Underdogs taking on AFC Muswell Hill. They should be some very entertaining games in my books. In Division 5, Edmonton Rovers versus Coney Athletic, Roving Reporters taking on North London Panthers, and NLR facing North Athletico. And in Division 6, Atletico Grammar taking on AFC Rosa, Intimate Razor taking on Mill Club de Football seconds, and we have a double header between Barillic Sport and Camden Town Athletic. Into the cup action, in the Premier Cup, the Wrong'uns facing Mehmetçik Galata again, this time Premier Cup action. Northwest Wanderers taking on Highgate Albion Reserves in the Premier Cup. In the Intermediate Cup, Grange Park versus AC Finchley. In the Junior Cup, Nissi taking on Camden FC. In the BSFL Shield, Armenian Youth Association taking on New Barnet. Enfield Albion facing Northwest Wolves. Pantera taking on EFNS. And Radlett Town taking on AFC Oakwood Thirds. And in the Middlesex Premier Cup, Highgate Albion taking on Grenfell Athletic. So now we're going to look at the London Cup results and draws. So we're going to start off with the London Sunday Junior Cup. Last weekend, was the quarter-final ties, or three of the quarter-final ties. Docklands beating Union Canal 5-1. AFC South London beating LBS Lions 2-1. And Ainsley, not Harriet, there weren't much spice in their performance as they fell to a 3-0 defeat against Kensington Town. So the semi-final draw will see AFC South London taking on the winners of tie 111, which is the winners of tie 101 from the fourth round, which is AFC Wilgar or Selhurst, previous champions Selhurst. They will meet West London Athletic. The winner of that tie will take on West London Athletic, and then the winner of that quarter-final will take on AFC South London, and Kensington Town will face Docklands. Moving on into the London Sunday Trophy, the quarter-finals were played last weekend. I keep saying this weekend. The quarter-finals were played last weekend. Brook Athletic 4, Farnborough Old Boys Guild 0. Very good second half performance from Brook Athletic. It was 0-0 at half time, but they got the key first goal, and then, as Brook Athletic are, they're very ruthless. They put the game to bed. 4-0 win over a very good Farnborough team as well. You can't deny that. They beat a very good team, and the scoreline there looks very convincing. AC Milano 2, Oakwood A 0. Great result for AC Milano, beating an Oakwood A team who had picked up some good scalps. Their results look very good, to the eye, and AC Milano put in a very good 2-0 win past them. Yeni Bogazici 4, Long Lane 1. Seems like more of a long day for Long Lane. Yeni Bogazici, as I said on previous videos, one of the teams that I expected to have a long run in this cup, and they've at least made it to the semi-finals there with a big win over Long Lane. And Croydon JFC beating Glebe Manor 2-1. Unfortunately, my boys Glebe Manor falling in the quarter-final to the league leaders of the Croydon Municipal League, Croydon JFC. And the semi-final draws have been made. They will be played on different days. Croydon JFC versus Brook Athletic, that will take place on the 12th of March. And Yeni Bogazici taking on AC Milano, which will be played on the 5th of March. Two very good, matchups there. A lot of good players in a lot of these teams as well. So they should be very entertaining semi-finals, and obviously the final will be, an entertaining affair as well. And we finally got our last 8 of the London Cup eventually. We finally finished not only the third round, but the second round over the last few weeks. So we'll just run through the last tie in the second round. This actually took place 2 weeks ago. Jam won, Rocker won. Jam progressing 3-2 on penalties. They then moved on to the third round where they didn't have enough Jam. They went 2-0 up against Under the Radar, their old rivals, but Under the Radar had just too much, mustard in the jar, too much in the locker for Jam, and they picked up a 4-2 win. So they moved on now into the quarterfinals, which will be played on different weekends as well. So tie 1, Under the Radar taking on Highgate Albion. That will take place on the 26th of February. Bayswater taking on Kumasi Strikers on the 19th of February. And then you've got the 2 games that will take place this weekend. Heavy Hitters taking on Hatch Lane and Grand Athletic taking on Olympia. 2 very big, games, 2 very hard challenges for our Barnet League teams. Heavy Hitters have had a great run this season in the London Sunday Challenge Cup. Obviously, the first round beating the Wall on penalties, then dispatching El Valiente. But for me, their third round tie is the best result I've seen in this London Sunday Challenge Cup this season. For me, very impressive. A 7-2 away win against the Hendon United team who dispatched the Bandits 7-1 and then Mehmetçik Galata 6-1 in previous rounds. So it's a very impressive result for Heavy Hitters, a team that play with a lot of passion, a lot of pride, a lot of energy, a very good team. They'll put themselves around. They've got some very clever players, some very technically talented players as well. And they're a family as well. They're made up of players that left the wrong uns and joined their own team, and they brought in a few extra players as well, few extra bits of quality on the Heavy Hitters roster. But they're a team that has been struggling in the league, but they found all their successes as a club in cup competitions. You look at last season, they were in the Roger Jones Senior Challenge Cup semi-finals, I believe, and they also won the Premier Cup as well. They beat Highgate Albion on their way to the Premier Cup, beat Pot Rolls in the final as well. So they've got that cup pedigree, even though they're a new team, but they play a team with a lot of talent all around the pitch in Hatch Lane, reigning London Cup champions. So they know, how to get results here, how to take on teams in tough environments, because it's going to be a tough environment for Hatch Lane this season. For them, they've had a few blips, obviously going out of the London Cup, the National Cup against Highgate Albion was a big blow for them. They've had several kind of moments in games where I think the management have kind of identified that sometimes the players have switched off and stuff like that. But all in all, there's still plenty of positives for Hatch Lane. They're still playing very good ball. They're still winning the majority of their games. Still got quality on the pitch as well. A lot of quality. One thing I do like about Hatch Lane, even seeing them in that final against Trabzonspor last year, is the way that the fullbacks get up the pitch as well and contribute a lot to the attack. And they're going to be very important to see how they can affect the Heavy Hitters game plan, because I guarantee you there'll be a lot of work done from Heavy Hitters management, a lot of video work to see how they can counter Hatch Lane's play and how the midfield will, you know, go, because Hatch Lane have got a lot of techie players in that midfield. They love getting it out to the wingers as well. The wingers for Hatch Lane love to cause havoc. They're the main kind of, you know, strengths in the team. Full-backs, wingers, and that midfield, who can really open a defence. Hatch Lane obviously beating Oakwood in the first round on penalties. I wouldn't say a bit lucky, but they kind of got away with it. Obviously, Tommy got sent off. I don't know. You know, you can't say it was a bad tackle, but he got sent off. But obviously, some very good piece of quality from Charlie Ruff actually had Oakwood in a prime position to win that game. But unfortunately for Oakwood, the keeper, I think, made a massive meal of a corner or a free kick, I believe it was, and he was punished by Hatch Lane, and the punishment ended on penalties. In the second round, they won again, 2-1 against Flyhouse Athletic, and then in the third round, definitely their best performance of this London Cup run so far, beating Spartans 5-0, and I think that will please the Hatch Lane management the most, because they've obviously improved round by round, and they've come to this, you know, stage on good form. I think that'll be a very good game. I believe Hatch Lane will probably have too much for heavy hitters, and they'll win by a couple of goals. I think they'll seal it late on as well. The first half, though, should be very interesting. If heavy hitters can stay in the game, they'll have a chance. But if they let Hatch Lane get that first goal, get that confidence, then it could be a long afternoon for them. And in the other game, Grand Athletic taking on Olympia. Grand Athletic have a lot of talent. They've been in this position before. They love, you know, playing with great intensity, getting the ball out to the wingers as well. The wingers causing problems. You can see in some of their videos how much emphasis it is to get the ball out to the wingers and to let them kind of, you know, create the chances, and they do well as well. They've got a lot of talent, even in the midfield, at the back. They love to play the ball around, which is good to see as well. Like, I think that's one of the great things about Sunday League football, that the top teams not only have, you know, the quality in, you know, the attacking positions, midfield positions, but they do like to play the ball and do like to promote playing the ball on the ground and, you know, playing some good football as well. Grand Athletic are about that. They're a very good ball playing side with a lot of quality. They're taking on Olympia, who have come into this game in some very good form. A lot of quality on their team as well. I'm not sure that Grand Athletic will know too much about Olympia. Maybe know about some of their players, but it'll be very interesting to see how Olympia's tactics and how Olympia's, you know, high intensity pressing system will affect Grand Athletic. Obviously Olympia love to press very aggressively from the front and try and win that ball in the opponent's first third of the pitch, which is, for me, a very good tactic as well, especially if you've got, you know, wingers and attackers who can work hard for the team, and it's bared fruit for them this season. Olympia, they've scored near double digits or double digits in a lot of games this season. They've beaten some very good teams as well, you know, in this London Cup run and in the league this season. They've put a lot of, you know, good runs and good scoring games in you know, their matches this season. They've got a lot of very clinical players, very talented players, very technical players. The the front three will be, very interesting to see how Yemi Burama, one of the top scorers in the Barnet League this season, can do against the Grand Athletic backline. Can Antonio Michael cause problems as well? A very tricky winger, a lot of talent, a lot of technique in Antonio's game. He's a very tricky customer. Can he, cause havoc for Olympia? I think that will be the kind of where the game's won. How can Olympia's front three affect Grand Athletic's backline? Because that I think's, for me, the main kind of battle. If Grand Athletic can, beat that press and get the ball to their wingers, get the ball to their midfielders, I believe that they'll have, the ability to create a lot of chances. But if they're not able to, I believe that Olympia, especially if they can work their press, they'll have a lot of joy against anyone. Anyone in this final 8 or in Sunday League. I believe Olympia, if they work the press, work the tactics, they can have joy against pretty much anyone. And it'll be very interesting to see how those games pan out this Sunday. We're also just going to look at the results from the 4th round of the FA Sunday National Cup. We had Longwatton 1, Iber Arms 1. Iber Arms winning 4-2 on penalties. Frimley Green 2, Highgate Albion 6. Very good result for Highgate Albion. I wouldn't say dominant performance, but they were very much, in control and very much the better team. Frimley Green had some very good chances. Charlie Taylor in goal for Highgate Albion was very good. They had also a chance cleared off the line as well by the Highgate Albion defender Lambert, I believe, which was a very impactful, very critical moment in the game where he cleared it off the line. I believe it was at 4-2. It could have been 4-3, but he cleared it off the line. Highgate Albion in the second half were very clinical as well. 2 very late goals. Jake Cass was fantastic. It was a sloppy hat-trick, but it was a hat-trick nonetheless. And give him a chance around the box or be sloppy and he'll punish you. He's one of those complete strikers in Sunday League, and a player that you can't really give a chance to because he'll punish you. St. Joseph's winners 2 seasons ago, knocking out the reigning champions Beatties 2-0. And then we had Borussia Martlesham from Suffolk, I believe, or Norfolk, one of them two. They beat VIP International 3-2. We had the games played on the 22nd of January. Custies losing 1-0 to Pineapple. That was an all Liverpool affair. I believe Custies missed a penalty. I think that was the boxer Smith missing a penalty there. Dock AFC losing to AFC Ball. Another Liverpool affair. Mainline Social 3, Sunderland Southwick 4. And then Essie Dons picking up a 1-0 win over Club Lucy. Zach Answer with the goal there. So that, takes us to the next round where Essie Dons will be travelling to Potters Bar FC to take on Highgate Albion. That will be played on the 19th of February. Should be a fantastic game. Obviously, some of the main stories are how the 2 defences are going to, handle the set of 3, the front 3. Because I think both teams play with that front 3. For Highgate Albion, it will either be Richard Ennings, Solomon Ofori or Tage Kennedy. And then probably Jake Cass up front, and then obviously for Essie Dons it will probably be Kieran Campbell, Nathan Palmer and Zach Answer, and how the Highgate defenders will deal with Zach Answer, and how the wingers Kieran Campbell and Nathan Palmer will go up against the Highgate Albion fullbacks. One thing to say is both teams have, very, very strong depth in their teams, and they've both come into this game on some good form. Highgate Albion haven't lost in a while. Neither of SE Dons. I believe the last time SE Dons lost was to Kamazi in the London Cup. Highgate, I believe, was the game against Oakwood. But both teams coming into this game in incredible form. It should be a very good spectacle. I recommend going down to it. It should be a fantastic game. A lot of great players. If I had to pick out mans to watch, if I had to pick out men to watch for this game, for Highgate Albion, I'd say Solomon Ofori, an electric player who had been hampered by injuries, but this guy could cause problems for a lot of Sunday League backlines, and he has caused a lot of problems for many Sunday League backlines over the years. Very good player, tricky, quick, everything you want in a winger or a forward. For SE Dons, Nathan Palmer probably for me is their key man. Obviously Zach Answer is the main top scorer, but Nathan Palmer, he's kind of the heartbeat of the front three. Very talented player, always involved in the play as well. He's a player that gives 110% every week, always there, willing to put his body on the line. And as I said, it should be a fantastic game between two teams that represent the Sunday League grassroots scene very well. And whoever wins the game is going to have a fantastic opportunity to go all the way and lift that trophy at the end of it. That is the end of the show. Thank you for joining me this week. If you'd like to leave a comment on who you think will win that big SE Dons and Highgate Albion game, as well as the London Cup games, I'd love to hear people's views on who they think will win those big games at the weekend and next weekend as well. Always remember to leave a like and subscribe if you haven't. It helps the channel immensely, and I will see you soon.